Friends, in the first part, we have discussed what happens if the country has low foreign exchange reserve or there is a deficit in current account. In the second part, we are going to discuss the major causes for deficit in current account or capital account and low foreign exchange reserve. What are the major reasons? In the second part, we will discuss what are the basic causes of negative foreign exchange reserve or low foreign exchange reserve. But before that, I want to tell you how foreign exchange reserve is created. The foreign exchange reserve is created out of two factors. One is current account surplus. That means when your exports are more than imports, then you have a current account surplus. Exports means both merchandise goods as well as services. Second, you may not have current account surplus, but you may have capital account surplus. What is capital account surplus? The country, like a country also borrows money. Like corporates, they are borrowing money from outside India in the form of external commercial borrowing. Mind that it is a liability of the company, at the same time it comes under the liability head of the country. Similarly, investment in the form of FDI, foreign direct investment. This does not come under current account. This will come under capital account because you may have to return the money. Similarly, foreign investors, FII, they are investing money in stock exchange. This money, whenever it comes, it is a capital receipt because this money may go again back to the investors. So these are the transactions are capital account transactions. Now if you have a high amount of capital receipts like in the form of FDI, FII investments in the stock exchange, then borrowing from international fund or from the international organizations or from the multilateral organizations, these are all receipts. So if you have excess receipt against capital outflow, then that is also adding to your surplus. So foreign exchange surplus comes from two factors. One, the export surplus, that means export minus import, and another is that capital surplus, that means capital receipt. All in foreign exchange I am talking capital receipt and capital payment. Whatever surplus will be there, that forms the foreign exchange reserve of the country. If you ask me, the country, our country, we have around 550 billion foreign exchange reserve. It is a good amount. It is about 9 months purchase equivalent. But if you really go into the deep, you will find this $550 billion surplus is because of capital receipts. Because we have got huge amount of FDI investments in our country. We have got huge amount of FII investments in our country. And this has really helped the country to grow. So we have now understood how the foreign exchange reserve is created. Now, question is, why foreign exchange reserve is depleted? Number one reason, if you have major trade deficit, which is the case for India. Major trade deficit means your excess of import over exports, of merchandise goods. That is a most important problem for all major countries. I'll tell you why. But let us understand the basic reason for the depletion of foreign exchange. Number one reason, large amount of trade deficit. And why this trade deficit has happened? It is not only a case of our country. Almost all the countries are facing. If you say Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, any country you name, they have this problem. Number one reason, the import cost has increased due to high cost of crude oil. The crude price, which was during Corona was around $30 per barrel, reached to $125, $129 per barrel. And today's price is $89. This is the closing price. Crude is very important for a country like us. We import 48 lakh barrels of crude oil per day. Again I repeat, India needs 4.8 million barrels of oil per day. 85% is imported. As a result, the product which you are buying at 25, 30, 40, 50, even 60, 65 during January, February 22, you are now buying at 89. And you had to buy at 125 about 3-4 months back. So as a result, the import cost has been inflated. Second reason is that because of inflations arising out of Ukraine and Russia war, the import cost of all materials have increased by 20 to 50%. This has resulted huge amount of trade deficit, and this is the major reason for depletion of foreign exchange. Now I would like to give you some statistics of the trade deficit. India's trade deficit for the first 5 months, that is April to August, reached to 124.4 billion against full year of 21-22, that is 12 months, it was 189.5 billion. And RBI is expecting that the country will have a CAD, current account deficit, to the extent of 3% of the GDP. This is a situation, this is a fact, these are the causes. Strictly speaking, no country can really control the crude price, and petroleum price is linked with every industry. It is not only linked with the transportation industry. It is linked with agriculture. You need diesel for running the pump set. You need petro-based inputs on many items. So therefore, crude price hike or increase will have a series of impact on the industry. Now this is the conditions. This is the situation. Now my question is that, is it a matter of great concern for India, or it is a matter to reckon? According to my considered thinking, I think it is not a matter of great concern, but it is a matter to watch. Now, why it is not a matter of great concern? Number one, crude price has started coming down. As you know, it was $125, $130 per barrel, and today's price is around $89.10. So it has reduced. And you may be knowing that India's financial budget for 22-23 was prepared based on $65 to 70 per barrel. So we can expect that the price will come down, but still it is a matter of expectations. Next is that India is expecting a merchandise export of $500 billion and service export $250 billion. That means during 22-23, our country is expecting a foreign exchange inflow amounting to $750. Secondly, India has a great blessings. You will be surprised to know the country gets $90 billion on account of remittances from NRI. There is no export. This comes totally free. And probably India gets the highest amount of NRI remittance in India. And its value is not small, $90 billion per year. So that will support the India's foreign exchange to a great extent. Even it is supporting. In the last year, that is 21-22, the remittance was around $89 billion. So 22-23, it is expected that the remittances will be around $90 billion. Third, India has a reasonable amount of foreign exchange of around $550 billion as on date. Of course, it has reduced from 642, but still it is equivalent to 9 months import payment, which is reasonably very comfortable. So I will not say it is a matter of great concern, but it is certainly a matter to reckon. Next is, you may be knowing, very recently the central government has allowed Indian rupee to be considered for import and exports. What it really means? It means you can export in Indian rupee and you can also import in Indian rupee. Of course, the countries are to agree, but government has allowed it. I will give an example. You have exported tea to Russia in Indian rupee. For example, 100 rupees. And you have imported crude, say for example, 120 rupees. So this Indian rupee 100 will be adjusted against 120 and 20 rupees will be paid. The entire transactions will be made in Indian rupee. Now you can ask me a question that will it reduce your trade deficit? No. It was in the form of USD, now it will be in the form of Indian rupee. But pressure on USD requirement will reduce. Today if you have to import crude oil, you have to pay by dollar. So dollar requirement is going up. And you know, if the demand is more than the supply, price will increase. But if we can take out a major part of our international trade in Indian rupee, the dependence on USD will reduce significantly, and as a result USD will settle. And that has been approved by our government. Very recently, the Director General of Foreign Trade, Whythe, its notification dated 16 September 2022 has allowed the Indian importers and exporters to deal in Indian rupee through Whythe account, for which I will take another video how transactions are made in Whythe account. But this is a very I will say it's an excellent move by the government of India. By this way, not only our dependence on USD will reduce, at the same time INR will appreciate to a great extent. Friends, you have heard the impact in case there is low foreign exchange reserve in the country's economy. This was discussed in the first part of this episode. In the second part, we discussed what are the major causes of low foreign exchange reserve. And in the third episode, we have discussed the various action points that are needed to rebuild our foreign exchange reserve to the extent of $642 billion as we achieved about few months back. And for this purpose, you have to follow the third episode on this subject. Please like our video, please share our video, and please do not forget to subscribe our video so that you get all notifications immediately after it is deliberated. Thank you once again.